What's up, guys? Got an important video for you guys today here. 10 reasons why being promiscuous is a bad idea and ways it can ruin your life. Number one, anxiety, depression, and dopamine overload. Being promiscuous naturally makes you really anxious. It keeps you attached to your phone. It keeps you wondering when the next text message is coming in. It keeps you on high alert. It keeps you chasing. It doesn't put you in a relaxed state. It constantly breaks your workflow. You can't really get anything done. You're always kind of wondering when she's going to text you back. Did she figure you out? Does she know you're talking to other people? It's too much. And all of that anxiety can lead to depression. You start to realize over time you're really not at peace. You're chasing a high, you're chasing a dopamine hit 24/7 because you're talking to so many people and people are pulling at your attention every day, left and right. And you'll think that when you actually obtain the girl or when you have a good streak of, let's say, two new people in a week, that it's some sort of win for you. But really, you're getting such a dopamine hit that the next week that you don't get two people, it's going to leave you in a more depressive state than the week before. So essentially, it's a game that you really cannot win. Number two, lack of focus on what matters. What you should be doing in your early stages while you're building is focusing on your job, focusing on your path, focusing on your fitness, focusing on your finances, but instead you're worried about a bunch of different girls. You're worried about balancing 3, 4, 5, 6 women. You're texting 15 girls. Obviously that doesn't stay at 15. It drops down to 5, goes up to 10, whatever, but you're still always trying to maximize the amount of people you're talking to. It doesn't make sense. Women do the same thing too. They talk to multiple guys because they're trying to weigh out their options and see who's the best one, but that's a high anxiety, highly depressed state of mind. I learned all of this from experience. I did it at a decent level. I won't say the highest level, but obviously I had some success doing it. And when I say success, I don't actually mean success. I mean that I was able to do it at a volume to where it made me realize, oh snap, I can't continue this. Like, this is literally going to destroy me. All it took was 1.5 years to realize, okay, the way people are constantly living out here, it's not going to work. I did the math on it. It doesn't make sense. There's some people who do this until they're like 40 and 50 years old. Like, you really couldn't tell that this is not sustainable. Think about where those people would be if they actually stayed on a straight path and focused on the things that mattered on a long-term basis. Addictions. So most of us, and a lot of people don't know this, but most guys, before a date, they have a drink. They have a drink in order for them to turn on that cool, calm, collected personality. They have a smoke. They indulge in whatever vice is going to bring out that best type of personality per girl or whatever they naturally kind of gravitate to as far as what mellows them out or what allows them to put on the proper personality for that particular date. It ends up leading us into addiction. It ends up leading us to associating whatever vice we attach to the date to our happiness, and it creates a dopamine response. So now every time you go on a date, you want to have a drink because every time you drink and go on a date, you feel calm, collected, mellow, and you're able to bring out that better personality. It's not that that personality doesn't live within you, is that you don't give it a chance to actually show itself without the addictive substance being involved. So you're not even really giving yourself a chance to shine in a sober state in front of that person. You're presenting the wrong person. You're presenting a fictional person and hoping that that gets you some success. It's important to be yourself and not attach these addictions to these dates. Not to mention, if you're going out partying, engaging in certain activities, staying out late, you're more prone to do stuff like drink alcohol to the point where you pass out, do cocaine, because it's going to be around you at some point if you do things at a high level. You're going to have that opportunity. You end up getting around mushrooms, you end up getting around a whole bunch of different substances that are not going to really lead you down the proper path. Because really, at the end of the day, we're all trying to achieve some sort of success. We all need to be focused on career, life progression, happiness, and all of those things create such a big dopamine spike that the calm state that you mellow down to is no longer calm. It's no longer something that feels good. Now you're chasing that high again. It's better to not even introduce those things to your body so then you don't have that desire to have those feelings. They've never existed. You don't even know what they are. The worst thing you can do is start taking drugs because now regular life is not as fun. So refrain from being promiscuous. It'll help you with addictions. It'll help you with these problems later on. Stick to a straight path. Number 4, pregnancy scares. You're at work one day, the girl you hung out with 2 weeks ago, you completely forgot she existed. Guess what? She remembers you though. So now, regardless of if she's having a real pregnancy scare or not, she's going to send you that text just to mess with you, just to see how you react. Or, worst case scenario, it's real. Oh snap, I got somebody pregnant. You just died inside. Now you're trying to function at work. You're sick. You can barely walk. You can't eat lunch because now you're worried about this crazy girl that you don't even like that probably looks like a walrus and you slept with her. in silence, thinking nobody would know, and now she's telling you that she hasn't had her period in 2 weeks, or she's telling you that she feels sick. Now you're the sick one. Now you got to go to urgent care. Number six, they will not just leave you alone. And this is one that is the most terrifying. When you sleep with a woman and then you decide you're done, you've had your fun, and you dispose of her, just remember you took everything she has in her head. You took her value, you used her, and you discarded her like she was nothing. She wants you to die if you do that. Now, I don't know if you guys understand the vengeance that comes with that. And us guys, a lot of times we don't try to understand where they're coming from, but when they open their legs to you, they really believe you're gonna be there. I mean, I don't know why they don't understand that men can do this and detach emotionally and literally use it as a exchange and then keep it pushing, but they tell themselves things in their heads and they tell themselves fairy tales. And when you go ahead and you take that thing from them that's so near and dear to their heart and you walk away and you act like it means nothing to you, they want you to die. Now, whatever happens after that is what happens after that. Sometimes they want you to die, but they don't act on it. But sometimes they actually act on it, and then it leads to real consequences. You cannot just play with people's lives like that. You really can't. I remember one time I was chilling, just woke up on a Saturday, and then I got a text and it said, "See you in court, mother effer." Now, I stayed calm, I stayed stoic. That's just me. I'm always going to deal with everything head on. I've never done anything to anyone. I've never taken anything from anyone in that manner, if that makes sense. Um, I've never, pushed anyone to do anything that they don't want to do. Everything I've ever done has always been consensual. But that woman, I don't even know who it was. It came from a number that I didn't have in my phone. But at the same time, I block people. I would block people. This was in the past. Um, I would block them. I would delete their number. I would do stuff like that to kind of just move on mentally. And I got that message saying, "I'll see you in court, scumbag," or something like that. I thought about that message for months. That message taught me a big lesson. That was probably one of the biggest lessons I learned was the way I'm moving, these people are going to come back. So if someday I become someone, right? And obviously I'm doing this here and I expect a lot of people to see it. I expect millions of people to see this someday. If not, that's okay. But I do expect people to see this. That woman might try to come back and take things from me. That woman might come back and fabricate a story and go to social media and post that I did this, that, and this and that. And now it's affecting my money. It's affecting my paycheck. You have to consider these things. You don't just get to do whatever you want and discard of people and then there's no consequences. The universe is watching you. It's watching our behavior. We can't just do whatever. Number seven, it's a waste of valuable time. This one's pretty self-explanatory, but I mean, a lot of people don't understand that when you're talking to 10, 11, 15 people, 20 people, you got dating apps and all this stuff, messages are coming in and out all day. Even if there's like three, four, five, six girls who text you on an average rate of like 3 hours, if you're talking to 15, you're still getting a message from someone like every 10 minutes. It's way too much. You can't get anything done. You're trying to focus on doing whatever you're doing at work and you can't focus. You can't because you're so excited. The dopamine's just coming in. Bing, 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 bing is hitting your phone over and over and over. You're trying to study for your engineering exam. You can't focus. You're trying to go for a walk with your kids. You're not present. You're hanging out with your mom trying to have breakfast. Your phone's going off. Ding, 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 ding. And a lot of us can't stay focused and just put our phone on silent and just do the task because we know, even if we have the phone on silent, we still know that there's messages waiting. We still know there's dates waiting, there's opportunities waiting. It's way too exciting. It's way too much dopamine. It's way too fast. It's going to make you come crashing down. Number eight, financial instability. Now, a lot of dudes broke date. Broke dating is when you're living paycheck to paycheck and you're pretty much budgeting for dates. So you're trying to take girls to cheap places. You're trying to see if they'll pay for the date. You're trying to see if they'll go 50-50. You don't have the finances to withstand the volume that you're trying to date at. You're trying to date 10 people, you're trying to sleep with five, but you know that at some point you have to come up off that money. At some point, you got to take them to dinner, you got to take them outside. A lot of dudes try to do the strategy of, okay, I'm going to invite her straight to the house and blah, 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 but that's not really effective. So you end up having to go to dinner regardless. Then you're trying to find the cheapest dinners in town. Then you're trying to filter in your Google search for the little singular cash sign. Like, you know how it has like one little cash sign for the 1-star restaurants and then the two cash signs for the 2-star restaurants. You got a whole tab open because you're trying to figure out what the cheapest places are to take women in town. You don't have it. You might as well wait, or you might as well try to find one person and try to build something with them. It makes more sense that way. If you keep trying to date at that volume, you're not going to be able to sustain financially all of that pressure that you're putting on yourself. You need to slow down. You need to chill out. It doesn't make sense. If you really sit back and think about it, all you're doing is pushing yourself farther and farther away from your goals. Number 9, it's going to be way harder to satisfy you. You're going to be way less satisfied by the nice girl that you do see who's actually good for you because you had a couple nights of, you know, convincing a baddie that you're the one to be with tonight. Maybe she's drunk, maybe she's just having a tough day and she needs somebody to talk to, and you end up kind of swooping in there and getting her to do some stuff with you. And now you think that that's your value. So now you're walking around thinking you're Mr. High and Mighty, and that's not your market value. Really, your market value is you should be with a 6, but you stumbled into a 9 one time on accident, and now you think that that's what you deserve. Now everybody who comes across you, you're not paying attention to them because you're looking for 9s all day when you're a 4. Now, number 10, the biggest one, the worst one, the reason I stopped doing this was because I started noticing I was paying a lot for what I was doing, and it's karmic debt. I believe the universe is always paying attention to us. And I think that when we're making mistakes and we don't know we are, I think it's probably not as bad. But when we know we're being dirty, when we know we're being dogs, we're being watched, the universe is paying attention to us, and we're going to have to pay that debt back. Every heart you break, every woman that you cause pain, you're going to have to go through it yourself. I ended up in all kinds of situations because I was being promiscuous for a couple of years. And I feel like I directly owed those debts to the universe. I feel like those debts were something I had to pay. I paid them like a man. I sat down, I thought about things, I read a couple books, and I realized I have to adjust the way I live. And so I did that, and I want to try to share as much as I can with you guys. Anyway, that's all I have. 10 reasons why being promiscuous is a bad idea and why it takes you away from your path and your success. More to come.